Good afternoon. I am sitting here with Deborah Newman of Petite, Taway. Thank you for joining me. I will say briefly that Deb has been so good to us. She has actually just done our new web design. So that's where we're going to start. Deb, good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, just dandy, I suppose.
Lovely.
So, as I said, you've just recently done our website. On average, ours I think is probably pretty easy. How long does it take you to turn around a website that's already been in existence, but you're just migrating from somewhere else?
Depending on where I'm migrating it from and what kind of website it is, it could take 2 to 4 weeks. It just depends on how much content gets sent to me. You know, if we have to change pictures or add videos, I'm pretty fast. As long as the content's available. Sometimes the content's not available, and we have to find the content. So sometimes that could take a little bit longer. But
how did you get into the web design world?
So my background actually is in restaurants. I ran restaurants for 25 years and had a restaurant actually as well. But as people know that are in that business, you have no life. You work 18 hours a day, and after a while, your bones start to hurt. Mm-hmm. So my restaurant was in Reston, and I decided I wanted to leave the business. And one of my client bar customers said, "Come and work for me." And I said, "What do you do?" And she's like, "I'm in technology." And I laughed. And I said, I can break anything by looking at it. And she's like, "No, you'll be fine. Come in, okay." So she actually was a project manager at a company called Unet, which was the backbone of the internet, which was very interesting. And I worked in Ashburn in cubicle land, which I hated.
I was going to say, restaurant to cubicle, yes, that's a big change.
I absolutely thought I made a huge mistake. And I wasn't used to sitting in a cubicle. And my position was a technical writer, which was very interesting. And didn't have a lot to write about, but would go to see some of these project managers or these engineers in the NOC keeping the internet up, and I would have to interview them, and I had no idea what I was writing at all. So while I was debating what to do with the rest of my life, I started taking classes. They had free training in Dreamweaver and Photoshop and web design, and I was bored.
Is that still around?
Yeah, I don't even know anymore.
Okay.
And I was literally so bored, so I would just do the free training, and so I learned how to use Dreamweaver. I really liked Photoshop. I learned how to manipulate images, and it would pass the time. Mm-hmm. 9/11 happened, and which was a pivotal day for me because the day after 9/11, I met my soon-to-be husband, who was a network administrator there. I had a broken computer. He fixed my computer, and 3 months later we got married. It was one of those things.
It does not seem very analytical.
No.
Okay.
And I was 37, so that was a shocker for me, let me tell you. And we ended up moving to Maine. His mom was from Maine, and my family were in Massachusetts. So he said, "You want to move to Maine?" And I said, "Not really." And he's like, "It'll be great. It'll be great.
It'll be cold."
Well, I didn't realize how cold. And so we ended up moving to Maine. We opened a small little computer repair business, which is what he wanted to do. And he was really the one who pushed me to kind of do web design. I really didn't want to do it, but he said, "Come on, let's do it. It'll be fun." And I'm thankful. So I built websites with Dreamweaver, and I started that way, and I had a baby at 40, which put the brakes on some of the web design things, thank God, and so helped him run his little business. We were living in Bucksport, which was on the Penobscot River, and it was beautiful, but it was not an easy life. Maine is a very difficult place to make a living. And at 47, my husband passed away, and I needed to reevaluate what I was going to do. I had a little girl, 7-year-old, and I knew I was not going to stay in Maine. I was in the middle. He died in the middle of a northeaster, literally. So I relocated back down to Virginia, and as I relocated back down here, Google came out with some new rules for webmasters, which was a whole new language, and I freaked and panicked because I didn't really want to learn a new language. So I started looking for a different kind of platform where I could take existing people and put them on a platform that Google would recognize. And I found this platform. I tested quite a few, and I ended up working with Wix because I could create custom designs. I didn't have to use their ugly templates. Sorry, Wix. And I
don't think it's exclusive to Wix.
I know. And it was super Google friendly, but I could also teach people how to maintain it themselves. And 10 years later, I have 450 people all over the world, and it's good. Life's good.
Is it ever too unmanageable with 450 folks potentially calling each day for?
It could be a little bit, but not so much anymore. I had to really kind of I redid my business a little bit, so people. I had to learn how to build it, teach them, and walk. Unless they wanted to retain me on a monthly basis, which some people do. But everything I create, it becomes a little personal. You want to make sure that it stays beautiful. Your name is on it. My name is on a lot of them. Some of them I took my name off, but most of them, they've stuck with me, and it's great. The majority of my business is word of mouth, and I have done zero in advertising. So
you can't beat that. Yeah. Well, let's go back to the name because it's spectacular. Yes. And then I'm going to mess it up again already and again. So Petite Taway.
Yes.
Where does that come from?
So my mother is Canadian from Nova Scotia. It was a nickname that they used to call her when she was little. So my mom now is 84. So in the 40s, it was extremely derogatory term for her. And I kind of Americanized the spelling. And again, when I came here, I needed to start my own company, obviously, and I really didn't know what to call it, like Newman Web Design. I thought, well, that's stupid and, boring. And I was in one of my, what's life's about stage. I need to do something that makes a difference. So I was walking in the woods one day, literally, and I was like, what am I going to call my company? And I was thinking about my mom and how strong she was. And I was like, I'm going to take that name and I'm going to make it mine. And I did. And everybody asked me the question. And in hindsight, I'm like, well, I probably should have called it Newman Web Design. But people that know me, it's the story. I'm the most my mom just looks at me now and just shakes her head. She thinks I'm a little out there and cuckoo, but it works. People ask me, what does it mean? They'll never forget it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Anytime you go to Canada and having also come from that part of the world.
I can't say it though. If I say it, they're going to be like, oh, why are you saying that? It's not a good thing. It's a bad thing. Yeah.
I just think of for me, I spent a fair amount of time in Woonsocket. So there's a lot of French Canadian there playing a lot of hockey.
Yes.
There's always like parking de let. Yes. These small terms that just they make me laugh.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're still there. My parents are still in New England and Massachusetts. So.
Yeah. So what do you do for fun outside of web design?
Oh, God. So I have my daughter just graduated high school. So that was, I've been a mom. So I really don't even know what fun is anymore. I'm kind of thinking about that. I like to read and I like to walk. And I'm going to figure out, once she goes to college, she's going to college, people. I did my job. And I'll figure out, I guess, what fun is. But right now I'm pretty content. I started, when I came back to Virginia, I was 47. She was 7. This is for all the people, especially women, that may not know if they have life insurance. But my husband did not have life insurance. So I literally came back to Virginia with about $5 in my pocket and started all over again at 47. So I've been working my butt off for the last 10 years to kind of catch up a little bit and pay some bills that we had, but also take care of my kids. So, now I have a pretty successful business, which is nice. I have a wait list, which is really nice. I don't have to do every single site that comes along. Thank God. And because there have been some doozies, people, and it's good. Life's good, I don't know. We'll figure it out from here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I definitely want to travel a little.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Are you a beach person, a mountain person?
Both. I like both. I like the outdoors, you know. I became a Buddhist, so I do all that Buddha Zen thing. You know, I like to sit and do little Om for 5 minutes, and then my OCD, ADHD mind can't take it, so I'll have to get up and do something else, you know, go
I
find
never
a
quite
rock.
make the inner peace.
Yeah, no.
Doesn't it defeat the purpose of being Buddhist? Okay.
I try a little, you know, but it helps me get a little bit centered. But I like the outside a lot, and I like traveling and stuff, so.
What is the book you're reading now?
Oh, let's see. I can't really. Oh my God, I'm going to tell you. So the book I just finished is called Hormones in Women. Yeah, I said it.
No, it's out there.
I said it, and it's all about how hormones mess you up when you're over 50. They do, and it's
Spoiler
actually
alert.
yeah. Hello. And, they're gonna be like, why is he interviewing her? But I believe in science, and it was highly recommended. I thought, I'm going to read this. It's all about changing the way you eat and sleep and stuff like that. It's actually really interesting, and I guess I understand now the power of hormones, and we'll just leave it at that. It's a good book. That's the last book I read, but I read a lot. My daughter loves to write, so she writes these amazing stories and stuff, and
Just creative writing.
She wants to write a screenplay, but I work a lot. So I enjoy what I do. I sincerely enjoy what I do, and I love working with artists. So I graduated from George Mason. Even within the restaurant business, I got my associates from Nova in Alexandria, and then I went on to get my BA at George Mason in the last degree that was called the Study of the Americas. So my specialty is in Indigenous arts and culture. I love textiles, I love culture, I love all that cool stuff. So maybe one day when I grow up in my 70s, I may open a store, who knows? And
is that when growing
cool
up is
stuff.
70s?
I don't know, maybe 80s. I'll say 80s.
The men in my family don't make it to the 70s, so that's not good for me.
We'll see. My mom's side lives very, very long, so I have some plans, you know. We'll see.
So, briefly, as we go back to the restaurant, was there a specific cuisine that you...
It was French.
French?
So
okay.
yeah, so I moved from Massachusetts when I was 18 to DC and worked in Georgetown for many, many years in French restaurants. Well, my first restaurant job was actually in Georgetown Park. It was an Italian restaurant that got closed one day because they were money laundering for the mafia, and I was out of a job. So someone said, oh, there's another restaurant down the street. I applied, I started working and fell in love with, I love working in restaurants. So it was a little French restaurant, and I started as a waitress, made a ton of money, waited on many, many senators that you all know, and movie stars that were at the Kennedy Center that you all know. Boy, do I have stories. I could write a book, but I'm not going to. Their secrets are safe.
Well,
but,
wait till your 70s.
Yeah, it was interesting. I met some very interesting people. And so I worked my way up from waitressing to assistant manager to manager, and eventually met an architect that was working down the road, and he told me about this really cool place in Reston, and, you know, started my journey that way for a little while.
That's really
Yeah,
cool.
it was really cool. I traveled the world actually working as a waitress. I saved all that money, and my friend and I had a roommate. They were all AU students, and we flew Pakistani Airways to Egypt for $500, you know, and we had the 80s were a great time. They were a really good time for me. I had a good time.
If you were in the restaurant in the 80s.
It was great. And I literally traveled all over the world. So it was a good life. And I miss it. There are moments I miss the restaurant business, but I'm good now. It's fine. I live vicariously through my clients, so it's all good.
Well, that's great. I appreciate you taking the time.
No worries.
I'm really happy to hear that your daughter's going to college.
Yes, she's
you're
good.
Both of you are gonna bloom.
Absolutely,
in a
absolutely.
couple
But I
years.
love the community here. I do a lot with a lot of chambers, and I believe in giving back, and I work with some nonprofits and stuff. So,
well,
life is good.
I appreciate it. So, how do folks get in touch with you?
So they will. I just said good question, people. They can go to my website. It's www.petitetaway.com. I will spell it out, military like. P is in Peter, E is in elephant, T is in Tom, I is in India, T is in Tom, E is in elephant, T is in Tom, A is in apple, W is in water, A is in apple, Y is in yellow.com, PetiteTaway.com. If you can't remember that, look on Mike Arnold's website at the bottom. It'll say site design, Petite Taway, and you can click on the link.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for
You're
taking the time
very
today.
welcome.
We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.